I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside. Triggers fast once she's naked, her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now? There we go. I always press that. I need to change that to where, like, I don't know. Anyway, so as I was saying, welcome to the stream. I did show up as promised. I do know it's a little bit late. I'm probably only going to go with this until like 12 o'clock, maybe 12:30. So this is the game I was talking about. This is, you know, I've said it before on multiple SLRP streams. I am a Star Trek nerd. My wife will completely attest to this. So I found out about this game actually through TikTok. I saw a video about this and got kind of intrigued. And the day that you took time off work for this, dude, that's dedication. I don't even know if I would have done that, but thank you. Okay, so like I was saying, I found this game on TikTok. A couple weeks ago, it was about a week ago, that I did some research, and I actually found out the day that I was looking at it that it only came out like 2 days ago. So I have not played this game to the completion at all. But I have started some of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely I'm going to start a new game, and we'll start from there. So let's get into it. So I have other Star Trek games on this computer that, see, this is 2023. They're 22 years old, and they were
the crew is restless.
They were redigitized and remastered to,
after spending too many months piecing our ship back
play
together,
through Windows 10 and Windows 11. This new one, I wanted to see what it looked like.
And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them.
So,
fortunately, nothing ever
for
stays
the people
the same.
who, I don't know if anybody knows anything about Star Trek.
Nature of the universe.
So this,
Change is
from what I
inevitable.
understand through reading
And
some of
while
the stuff
entropy says
online,
order gives way to chaos, in
this
case,
game,
change is good.
so back in 2002, there was a movie that came out called Star Trek Nemesis with the Next Generation cast.
Our new first officer is en route
this
to
game
the Resurgence. Jara Rydek
is directly after that.
Dose of new blood to the crew.
So it's not like if you have Paramount Plus and you've seen like Star Trek Picard, Star Trek, and New Worlds, and all that other stuff, all the newer ones, yeah. It's in the timeline right after Nemesis.
I'm not great with flying.
So what this game does is it lets
Are the
you
worst.
it lets you choose what
Stick around in
responses you want to
Starfleet and
say,
you'll be sure to see worse
which is
than
actually
this.
pretty cool.
I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good. Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the first time I've
Won't be
ever
easy for Jara
had
to
a
step
game
in
like,
at the
or
11th
played
hour
a game
like
like where you pick and choose the
She's half the
responses
officer
you
I knew she could become when she was
do
a
and,
cadet at
you know.
Starfleet Academy. She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
I don't even know if anybody, I haven't even looked on YouTube to see if anybody's done any kind of lives like playing this game, so I figured I'd do that. Oh, okay. This might be a little slow. If it gets too slow, let me know and we'll try and pick up the pace. What's going on, Cue Ball? How you doing? What do you mean no content? No comment?
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
How you doing, Cue Ball?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
Yeah, I can't see it either, Cue Ball. Yeah,
Please
it
place your
didn't
hand
pop up.
here.
The
Hold it
first
there for a
comment
few
you
seconds.
sent was no comment. Yeah, I can't see it.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in
Who's
what,
the
like the
who's
top
the-
3?
That would be me.
Biggest nervous
Now I'm
wreck I've
really-
seen. Who are you talking about?
It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure is mine. Ensign,
Paul Calloway.
good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. He just started
See you
out
on the Resolute.
and like this is his first assignment, so he's not quite sure what to expect.
Good day, Commander.
Oh, okay. Well, dude, when I became Leo, I was seriously
If
a
I
nervous
remember my
frickin'
briefing.
wreck.
Commander Ermot is a Boldian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
Like, ask
Excuse me.
Tim. I was nervous.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute.
So, Definitive GG, have you
Commander?
played this game before?
I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case.
Oh, okay.
We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy.
Wait, were
at
you
such
in the
short
orange
notice.
car?
From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us.
Yeah, you were
Coming
with
from
Gates.
a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
I'll do my best to live up to expectations.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do just fine. And if I can help in any way, just let me know. The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared
What's
to the
going on,
bigger ships,
Satui?
but
How
as
you
far as
doing?
science vessels go, she can more than hold her own.
Thanks for stopping by and
She doesn't
checking
look
us
so
out,
bad
man.
considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame.
Oh, well, by
It
that
was a
time,
planned test,
patrol
but the
was
warp
over
core
and I was
pushed beyond
done.
its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency.
Were you live, GG?
It was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer.
Because that
and
was
22
Nicholas
of our crew.
asking me to
At the end of the
speak
day,
to you
we're
about
all
that.
responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a
Yeah,
new
it is
mission
nice
will
when
help them
you
move
can
forward.
choose your own work hours.
If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. And I'm glad you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt
What's
it was a
that?
mistake. That he should have promoted from
What do
within.
you mean Streamlabs
So you
link?
might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board.
That's funny.
I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Stuck. Okay, just the
Yeah,
thing.
I don't have that set up. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I don't. Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to do that, Statui. I'm a work in progress with this thing. Like I literally last night just figured out how to do the Nightbot thing.
And that... is that.
I mean, if anybody, you know, because I'm literally still learning how to do all of this streaming stuff. If anybody is willing to give me a hand, like teach me how to set this stuff up,
I thought the thing was totally
I'm so
fine.
willing to learn.
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
I do want to thank y'all for stopping in and hanging out with me. You know, trying to see if if people like this game, we'll keep doing it. If not, then we won't, I guess.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for is something good.
Uh-oh.
I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing
All
plasma
right, Phoenix,
manifolds.
thanks for stopping in,
Hanging
man.
upside down makes me queasy.
Orders are orders, Neely. You know what they say? There are no small missions. Every expedition has a purpose.
Even if we don't know what it is yet.
I am. I mean, I grew up on Next Generation and those movies.
Looks like we got here
and,
before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
with all the new stuff that they put
We
out
were
on
just
Paramount
looking for you,
Plus.
Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar,
I've watched every bit of it.
Diaz, I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Etzelar on repeated occasions.
So you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
As far as
that
the
is
movies
one
go,
interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
The first one that J.J. Abrams did back in 2008, and I know that's been
I
a
don't
while.
suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we
That
go
was
off
okay.
duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration, but this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood, but many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
How concerned should we be about the storm? Are you worried?
Vulcans do not worry. We calculate the variables and take appropriate precautions to mitigate the risk. Right now, that entails making critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders.
My wife even makes fun of me.
Do not delay.
So, you know,
Yes, Commander Chovak. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule.
We'll see about that.
Consequences be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right.
Try to let you guys hear
I
the
guess
dialogue.
getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
Don't talk badly about one of the best ships in all of Starfleet.
We've rebuilt enough of her by now. She better be one of the best.
We'll see about that. But I am glad to be here. He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Come on.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
We get into some
Here,
pretty good action right here.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still
Like
running
I
with
said,
the
there's
usual
moments of
suspects.
slowness in this, and then there's got some action
go.
and things like that. So, but I've only played it up to a certain point.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Yeah.
Have you never gets old.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Which, I mean, it was a it was a good premise, I guess, to do like an alternate timeline type deal, but I don't know. It made money, but it just wasn't really my cup of tea, I guess.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things
The help you can hear better?
And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
I mean, it was good as, you know, from a visual effects standpoint. Ship looked pretty cool. So, like, I don't know if you've seen
just a sip of something.
Anything that's on Paramount Plus, but
Rack
you know they did a TV show about Picard. They call it Star Trek Picard. So
that sure has a kick.
That timeline from Star Trek Picard, where it started, was from when
Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation
Spock
from the academy. You'd already
went into
secured
that
one of the
black
most
hole,
prestigious
or whatever
assignments
it was,
possible.
to go into that
Burning
alternate
with enough
timeline.
ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
You can spare me the pomp and circumstance. There's plenty of work to be done without all that.
You always had a work ethic like nothing I'd ever seen.
Yeah. And he
That's just
also
what this ship needs at the
made
moment.
some of the sounds sound like Star
As I'm sure
Wars.
You've heard, we've had a
Like,
rough go
because
of it
he had
these last
just
6 months.
done
The ship
a Star
suffered some
Wars
damage,
movie, I believe.
but not nearly as much as the crew.
I assume you mean the accident.
That's right. The tragic accident, really. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a
I
sustained
forget
rate of
which
speed
one it actually.
longer, faster than we ever dreamed.
Which Star Wars was it that
What
he
would have
did?
been the crowning
Was it-
achievement of my career? Right there, within our grasp. Till it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to
That's
live
right.
with the
That's what it
consequences.
was.
You have to look to the future. You can't dwell on the past, on things you can't change.
There's nothing that can be done about it now. In my defense, I will say I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say, goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority.
So this crew doesn't trust this
Escorting a senior
captain
diplomat to
after
Qatari
the...
space. Two previously
They thought he was
peaceful and
taking too many
otherwise
risks
non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping
From the
mission.
dialogue that happens
I see
later,
it as a
you'll see
golden
why.
opportunity to not
You'll
only
see.
prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Qatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal
How you doing,
failure.
Linus? Thank you for stopping by
When
and
that
checking
might
us
happen is
out.
entirely up to you.
Appreciate that very
But it goes
much.
without saying, you have my full support.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way. Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
I'm doing good. I'm doing great for a Tuesday.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next,
Yep, so we're
we
trying
have
out a
Commander
new game
Westbrook,
tonight.
our Chief Science Officer.
Like I said before,
Come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
I found this game a couple
Commander
weeks,
Rydek,
like last
it
week
is such
on
an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian.
TikTok, so I
Been looking forward to meeting you for about as
figured
long as
I'd
I
try
can
and
remember.
give it a try and
I've been following your career for quite some time,
go live with
and
it.
I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
If anything, the honor is mine.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad. Because of what you've overcome.
Yeah.
Starfleet stands
Somebody-
up for people who can't defend themselves.
It was. I don't know if it was an ad. I don't remember. I don't know if it was an ad or if it was
But since then, you've
like
done so
somebody
much
actually
to protect
playing the
others who
game.
need
I
it.
don't remember.
I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough about me. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Oh yeah, I've got so like on my TikTok, I can actually. So my main, the main game that I play and that most of the people that are in the chat here play is 5M GTA 5. We're all in the server together called SLRP, and
lowering structural integrity field.
There's a lot of people on that actually stream on TikTok, stuff like that, in other servers, which is pretty cool. And I see a lot of the same guys on there doing it.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter. Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
What's going on, Hash? How you doing, brother?
It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet,
Snoop Dogg!
You have a good night, man.
No.
Appreciate you stopping in.
Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that?
Hashtag hell is in the house.
I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
Now, what are you complaining about? We got the best seat in the house.
Yeah, I need to get my graphics back into 5M. I need to get my...
I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years
my reshape back into 5M.
I wanted to go somewhere.
All right, brother. I'll see you out there.
Worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today.
Yeah, what was that call last night? That was a bit odd.
Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Hash, if you're still in here, say hello to Miss Darcy for me. You're probably not.
Getting recalibration. Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
I feel like I'm yelling. Does it sound like I'm yelling?
Commander Westbrook,
did
right?
It sound like I'm yelling?
Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Well, I'm so glad you said that.
I'm going to be a little
now
sarcastic on this.
Now I know exactly who to turn to when I have questions.
Questions are more Commander Ermont's territory. Captain Solano primarily relies on my knowledge and expertise when he needs answers. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for First Officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
In my entire career, it's never been an issue, or caused the slightest problem. And I don't expect this to be any different.
I was just curious.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. That's what,
Listen,
yeah.
can I
Because
be
I
blunt,
heard that come
Commander?
out over
I
the
see
radio.
no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet.
Oops.
His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew, and he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope
All right,
that
so
you
I'm
live
not
up to
going to be
expectations.
sarcastic about that one.
I don't think I could ever replace Commander Sutherland. And it would be a mistake to even try.
What's going on, caveman? How you doing?
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you
Thanks
an
for
update
stopping
on this
in and hanging
ion
out
storm we're flying
on
into.
this,
It's unusual.
trial
Unlike
run
anything
of
I've ever seen.
this game
At
here.
the moment, I can't tell you if the
We're
Resolute
gonna
will
see
shrug it
how
off
people
or if we're
respond
putting
to
ourselves
it,
at
and
risk.
if
However,
they wanna
if
see
we
more of
learn
it.
more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound, on screen.
4 people in the chat, or 4 people watching, and
Tracing
6
its
likes. I
trajectory.
like it.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wideband burst of ionic energy, like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Estimated.
Red alert.
Aye. Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Sensor
okay.
visualization on screen.
I mean, hey, it
Structural
made for a
integrity
good
field shut
scene,
down. We
right?
can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional thread, so we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get
I'm
it
gonna
wrong.
do the deflector pulse.
That's right, which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Commander Westbrook, use the deflector dish.
Already working on it. Optimal timing displayed.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that.
going to be tight.
Good. Send the pulse on my command. Now.
I just failed this right here.
That was too early.
I failed. I wasn't paying attention. We'll retry
Commander
that.
Westbrook, use the deflector dish.
Already working on it. Optimal timing displayed. It's going to be tight.
Good. Send the pulse on my command. Now.
We got it. This is it.
All hands,
Hash
brace
and
for
Jeffrey
impact.
are so good at making those thumbnails. Like usually if I'm in a pursuit, I don't even think about doing the Rockstar edit, you know, like hitting the record for the Rockstar editor.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
That can blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Oh man, somebody tried to get into your servers?
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Alright, so we got a timer down in the bottom left-hand corner here. We'll pull this out.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it. Snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy damage is down to 60%. Almost to the regulator.
We're at the regulator point. Opening the access panel.
Dang, that's
now
let me catch up
halting
here.
the EPS flow to the port nacelle.
Here,
We
give
have
me a-
little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral. EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chobot can...
Well, that's good. You didn't have to. That got taken care of pretty quick there, Phoenix. Yeah, I just, collective gathering about the Rockstar editor. Oh, darn, and I didn't get to it. Hold on, let me.
Get down! DS to bridge. We just lost the docking lamp.
Well, that's cool.
We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working. What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us. Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
The docking clamp isn't functioning. We're exploring our options.
The option is to detonate the emergency release.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm. This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Chara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision. The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there.
So what is that? You said it's a collective company. What do you do, Phoenix? Like,
there is protocol.
What does the company do?
And there are lives.
Or what do the
Starbase,
companies
stand by.
do?
We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us
Danny,
from the
how's it
remaining
going,
docking
man?
clamp. Tether yourself and
How you
deactivate your
doing, brother?
fuse on my mark.
Understood.
8, 7, 6,
Right. It's all
5,
his the docking clamp.
4, 3, 2, 1. Mark!
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Where has Santa been, dude? I have not seen Santa.
I got you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
Dude, that's a hell of a job. Oh yeah, they did.
Look out!
I got you. Petty Officer Edselar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edselar there to access the interior.
Roger that. Go in there now.
Right? Exactly.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
Space flight is dangerous. Being in space is dangerous.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this. Get in there.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
I mean, it depends on how If you're just talking about like chest deep, I'd be cool with that. I'd be good with that. But I'm not going like. I'm not going like 200 or 100 feet down. No, not happening.
We made it.
They're safe. Bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Now I'm gonna get chewed out. Probably.
Nilly.
I'm good. Help me with him.
Let's get this off. Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter. You don't look so good. You gotta be more careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
I bet it is.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Yep, here it comes. I'm gonna get chewed out. Oh, yeah, that's what I figured it was. I didn't figure it was like 5M servers or anything like that.
You disobeyed my orders. Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information I had.
You disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong. You weren't on board and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
Wow.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thank you for understanding, sir.
Man, that sounds like
I'm
a
sure
hell of
no
a
one
job.
knows the burden of command, as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.
Me, I'm just a lowly pipe fitter.
All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
So you're heading off?
Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one.
All right, Phoenix.
Disengage
Well,
docking clamps.
thanks for stopping by, man, and thanks for coming back.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr.
Watch
Haydar.
the rest of the stream tomorrow morning or tomorrow, whatever. Let me know what you think. If you want to... I'm going to take this thing till probably midnight, just to see where it gets me past all of this. But let me know what you think. If you guys want to see it, let me know. If you want to see more, let me know. He's telling you to cover your ass, Phoenix.
That should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system.
CYA, cover your
Prepare to go to
ass.
Warp 8.
Hi, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me? Helm. Do it.
Well, Danny, like I've told everybody that came into the chat tonight, I grew up on it. And
Nicely done.
yeah, I grew up on it, and it's
Whoa. Careful.
Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
I don't even know. I don't even know what to
You
say.
don't look
Like
fine.
I grew up on it, and I watched pretty much all the shows all the time, and my wife hates it. I can tell you that.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
Go to bed, Phoenix.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number. He'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your duridium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer.
Oh, you're telling me give
Be
you're
honest,
telling Danny
I've
to
never
give
met
me a hard
Cobia
time?
before. You're
Rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
That's not nice. Don't do that one.
I don't like the attention it brings. Being treated differently than everyone else.
But you are different.
Danny,
That's
you
not
don't know
something
how
you
many
can
breaks I've actually given
True.
you.
But sometimes it makes it even more difficult than it already is.
And don't worry,
I think I've only arrested you twice.
I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind.
When you're Santa, I give you breaks a lot, man.
When the lives of your crew are at
stake. I have. Like the time you
what concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career.
In the bird bath?
Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge.
No, I didn't.
It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
I'm sure he did.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure is almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
And my work here is done.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be lurking outside of sickbay. I didn't want to intrude, so it felt more appropriate to wait out here. We were all worried about you.
Yeah.
Or I should say I was. I wasn't sure what was happening at first, but then I realized it was your condition.
You sure you didn't come here to gloat? Remind me that you saw this coming the moment I stepped on board.
Make no mistake, I like being right, and I won't be quiet about it when I am. But it didn't happen at the worst time. You made it through that. So I guess I was wrong. And a bit of a jerk. You trusted my intuition earlier, with the deflector pulse. I felt I should thank you for that.
Well, thank you for coming. Even though you didn't have to.
I wanted to.
Yeah, and I was also
now, Carter,
weren't you the
missions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like
the
everything
worker at
else
the 24/7 last night?
That's a combination of hyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing. She's come by a couple of times to see you already. Be brief.
Did they take you to Pillbox?
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duvall. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
Ah, come on. You know you can't get rid of me that easy.
Don't push me, Diaz. You do not want to see me try.
No, nope. I am not getting on your bad side.
I am a formidable enemy. Millie was looking in on you too, by the way. But since it's just us right now,
Well, I mean, if you got cut in the forehead,
to think about
your
this while I was
forehead
away.
tends to bleed a lot.
And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse, leaving it unsaid.
Oh, this is gushy.
Wait, are you angry at me or something?
Oh, no, not that. I'm sorry. I'm probably making too big of a deal here. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
Well, I thought that was
kind of unexpected.
I didn't expect this either. But here we are. And I didn't want to ignore it. I just figured I'd steer right into it. Well, what do you think? I've been about as direct as I can stomach. You can do that too. Be direct with me.
I like you too, Miranda. Let's see where this goes.
Okay. I was really hoping you'd say that.
Right?
Sorry to interrupt, but The patient needs to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
Of course. I'll see you again soon.
That should have been
Approaching
my...
the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Well, I was born in 82. And when I say I grew up
We are the
with
correct coordinates
the
to
next
meet the shuttle.
generation. So
Commander
that started
Rydek,
in
find us our
87.
diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain.
87, 88.
Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
So I grew up...
Sure?
I mean, there's
I'm
more
sure.
things that I grew up like, you know, as far as TV shows,
Come on, Diaz.
and or what you want
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
to... Okay, there's that. Yeah, because those, I think, came out in like 99 or 2000, right?
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Oops.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. There's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't
Right,
handle
Star
it.
Trek came out in
Can our shields take
66.
it?
And
I believe
yep,
so.
all that, but I
Commander Rydek, plot an
honestly,
intercept
I was
course.
not a fan of
On it.
the. I've tried watching that. I've tried watching the original series. I just can't do it.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Yeah, I never could get into the original series. Now the original series movies, I do like those for the most part.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock. The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer...
Carter? Carter Diaz, sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual.
I just wonder if this really was Leonard Nimoy's voice,
thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short reversal of warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems, and who knows what it might do to a warp drive.
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Man, I got pretty far in this before.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We're all curious about the future, Ambassador. Specifically, what exactly are we getting involved in here?
We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Illidians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence, but it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Illidian fleet in open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
The Hotari just won their independence. It's hard to believe they would give that up just for profit.
I agree. It would be exceedingly difficult to bring the Hotari to that position.
Neither the Illidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
I'm gonna pick number 3.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Illidians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension, you will be doing your duty, Commander.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well,
yeah,
I hope
he's not
Commander
bad
Rydek
at
will
all.
have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
So...
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
Commander Chovak, is there anything you do enjoy?
I take pleasure in the satisfaction of a job well done. I suggest you try it sometime. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
Was that a joke?
No, couldn't have been. It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chovak has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking. You did the smart thing.
Yeah, I did pretty great out there. So don't you forget it.
I have a feeling you won't let me forget it.
I'm not gonna have to do a damn thing to remind you.
Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic. So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
It'd be nice if they would...
She sent me a priority
I
one
realize
dispatch
that this
right after your
game's
conversation. I'm happy
a couple
for you.
weeks old. But it'd be kind of neat if they would...
Thanks.
But
add to
I'm
it
only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms.
I don't know.
That just isn't going to work for me. And I know you'll respect that.
Yeah, I noticed that the first time I went through this part.
Why are you even going there? We haven't even gone on a date yet.
I just want you to know where I stand. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something. Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
I don't think so.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil
No,
throws
I
a
think
fault
they
code.
were all three friends.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation. Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variants out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the navigation array. Navigation array checks out, so it must be a coil.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Well, I'm gonna give it... Unless you want me to actually keep going until midnight, I'm gonna,
I'm not here.
I'm gonna give it about another 10 minutes.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just...
Here's more
hoping to
cheesiness.
see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
You're the one with the important job to do. Keeping the captain safe. And Ambassador Spawn.
It doesn't always feel that way. Baking in the hot sun, standing guard next to an empty shuttlecraft.
Yeah, well, I mean...
But it has its moments.
I got a 6-year-old that's still
Maris.
up and...
Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
Actually, I probably should go to bed.
That another one of the captain's
Kind of early tonight. Or at least...
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to
at
the
a normal time.
Steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
Do me a favor. Come back safe.
Deal.
Well, let me see if this saves this. If it starts another chapter, which I think it should. Good night, collective. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out, man.
If you could float back down to reality,
I hope you liked.
We still have a ways to go.
Liked the stream somewhat.
All right, where were we?
Or the game.
So the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You want to take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you have come. My name is Tyler Saltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari